Start. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this edition of Drive Time on this Monday, April 27th. We're coming to you live as always, and I'm joined by my two usual co-hosts, and we're bringing back an oldie but a goodie, and it's good to have them back in with us too. So we'll start with our regular showtime. Sarah, how you doing?
I'm good, just a little tired today. I got finals next week, so I got to start studying for that.
That's a good idea. I like the idea of studying for your finals. Very, very, very good idea. Paul approves for sure of that idea. So, and then of course the one and only Scooter, who was out sick last week, unfortunately ruined the Mel Kiper bit that we had planned by a sickness, but he's back and better than ever. So how you feeling, Scooter?
Well, I could have come on and I could have been the non-talkative Mel Kiper, which could have been a whole thing in itself.
Maybe.
But I was not in the zone, if you will. Like, it was just like crushing me. So, but you guys had a great show, and Mel's back.
The mock draft is fun as always. So, and especially now that we got so many moving parts between trying to do everything, I was pretty happy for the most part that it went off without a hitch. So that was good news for sure. So, yay, all of us. So, and then of course, he's been with us from time to time. But the one and only Vic is back. How you doing there, sir?
Pretty good. How about you? Hanging in there.
I can never complain. So it's always good to be here with us. So glad to see everybody here. And real quick, I'm trying to get on the whole little, the group page, get our little feed going here. So let me finish getting this up here real quick, and then we'll rock and roll the show. So I'm glad everyone is doing well. Well, needless to say, we've, since we didn't do a regular show last Monday, to say the least, we've had a lot that's been going on. But of course, we start with where you can check us out. So we'll even bring this up here too. So, you can follow us and subscribe on the old Facebook, but then you can also check us out on YouTube and X, and you can listen to us the next day on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Pocket Cast, Podbean, and Castbox. So all kinds of ways there to check us out as always. So hopefully you do so. Now, since we didn't do a regular show, needless to say, we had a lot of anthems to go through in Oh Say Can You Sing. We're talking a lot. So, and I also decided before, if everyone recalls correctly, what I had done was I was only doing the best of the person. But then I kind of thinking about it a little bit more. I was like, well, like when people have swim meets and they have different things, like you get to see, well, here they performed really well here, or they didn't do so well here. So I decided, from now on, I'm going to keep everyone's performance. So as everyone performs, we go through it. So this is going all the way back to 4/18 from the first game, which I was really happy to finally get Jeff Jimerson on the old thing from Pittsburgh. Another one of these older guys that is losing a little bit. He's kind of doesn't have the voice at the pipes that he had a few years ago, but he's been around forever in Pittsburgh. So he got a 41 to start us off. Was a little pitchy, which I get. It happens. Then Cardinal Johnson, my man in Vegas, led us off with it. Wasn't his best because he has scored a 50 before, but he had a 46. Then the train wreck in Carolina, that is Adam Lee Decker, as Sarah and Vic will attest to. It just is not good. It just is not good. Now, Sarah, you still kind of like him though, don't you?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I get why he does all the time, because they win a lot of playoff games with him doing the anthem, and teams aren't superstitious about this kind of stuff at all, So he's going to be there, but he did get. I actually liked his O Canada better. He scored 3 points higher on his O Canada than he did on his USA. So he doesn't try to do the ranges that he does in the U.S. national anthem. So then Dallas's regular anthem, she did fine. It wasn't her best either. Then we got to Buffalo, which this was the first one in Buffalo, which is done by Cammie Clune. She was okay. They were solid, no complaints there. Then Tina Tia Gee does the anthem for US, and then they go to Robert Clark, who I love in Edmonton. The only thing I don't like is because he really only sings the first verse, and then after that he just holds up the microphone the entire time. So then you can't hear him sing. And, it's cool. Like I like hearing the audience sing, but you lose points yourself when you're not singing. So it's like I get it, like it gets the crowd into it, but like I can hear the crowd in Edmonton sing fine. Like let me hear your voice while you're there with the crowd singing it, and then it'd be better. So just not good. Then Adam Lee Decker second night was okay, not great. Jeff's second night was better. The lady that did in Tampa, she did the Canadian one. She was not good. She took like these weird breaths and was very, very squeaky. I don't know how that was the best person that could do it, but she did them. Then one of my favorites in Tampa, Sonia Bryson Kirksey, she was solid 45, but another one, she's getting a little bit older, so she can't quite hit the notes that she used to 10 years ago, but she still did a really, really good job. Amanda Hawkins was Colorado one. She's better than I remember her last year. Then Carnell delivered a 47. Lauren Hart, now I'm glad to get Philly on here too, because for those that don't know, Philly does not do the national anthem. They do God Bless America, which started from Katie Smith way back in the 70s when the Flyers were really, really good. So that kind of, and I was glad to see that they're still doing that for the playoffs. And she was good. It was I gave it a 42, a bit rocky at times, but still really good. One of the best so far, of course, Todd Angeli in Boston, just the pipe. The pipes are just amazing. He was good. Then we had the NFL draft. Somebody named Kells, never heard of her before. I'm sure she's not in my time as far as music genre goes, but it was really slow. Like that was a slow anthem. Didn't like it. Alexandre Silvestri, one of the best in Montreal, did really good as always. Kaylee Busio is the first one in Utah, so that's their first anthem. The mic wasn't working to start, but you could hear. But again, she liked her runs at the end, and I'm not a big fan of the runs. In a lot of ways, I'm not a big fan of runs unless it's a baseball game. Then I like runs. National anthem, don't like runs. Other places, runs are no good too. Nothing on that dad joke. You guys just gonna let that one go, huh? Okay. Mm-hmm. I see. Then my boy, Lyndon Sluage, like I love this guy for Ottawa. Full tux, white gloves. I mean, like that's what you want to see. And then he has the pipes to match it. So he's gotten our highest score of this season's playoff games with a 49 for the U.S. and then a 48 for the Canadian. The only reason why he gets deductions still is because he does sing part of it in French, and that's just an automatic deduction. I get it. I know why, but it's
what's wrong with French?
It's my list, it's my rules, and you just sing in French, you get automatic point deductions. It's like a fall in skating. It's automatic deduction.
Jeez, so, I'm the only one with the French last name too.
I know. So, and Brittany Cannell, I don't know why Montreal left good old Alexandre, because for game 4, it was this Brittany Cannell lady. And it's weird because she was twangy, but yet I think she's French Canadian because she did sing the national anthem in French. So like that was weird to me. So that was, and then when she got to the Canadian, she got like really, really pitchy. So that was really bad. And then Lauren Hart had another one. So there we have it. So there's all of them. So if we do this nice little thing now I got all this stuff here. We can do. I can sort from largest to smallest, and we can see everybody there. So there's not really much of a change as far as, Lyndon does get up there with a 49. So that's the highest score this year. And then if you want to here, we can even do this. We can if you just want to see the US ones now you can only see the US ones and how those all score through. So we've had some low ones in the 30s, that old 25 from last year's NFL draft, which was really, really terrible. And so the first Canadian one too, we can now see this here. So if we go here on Canada, so we do have, of course, the World Series game 1 yesterday was our 50 with that, which was really, really amazing with that course, and Pharrell Williams. And then Lyndon is, of course, leading the way, which I'm not surprised. But what I'm noticing is that my scores, I think I'm a tougher judge on the Canadian national anthems than I am on the U.S. national anthems. I don't know why that is. It should be the other way around. But there we have it. So there's Osei Can You Sing through all of these playoff games so far. Sarah, any thoughts on any of the national anthems and my obsession with them?
I'm just concerned for your hatred of French people. That's a choice.
It is.
You're okay in my book.
Scooter, any thoughts on any of the anthems or anything?
No, the only thing is like when you did the whole anthem, all the names of the people the previous weekend. Yep. Like with that, like I've never, except one of those people, I've never heard of any of them, and I'm trying to figure out like, ooh, like with their names, try to put them in a sport. Like Brittany Cannell, she's the point guard for like LSU. Selena Ray, she's like defense for Team USA hockey. Now I know who Brad Paisley is, of course, but like Matthew Bischoff, defenseman, Canadians.
I always thought the Matthew Bischoff sounded like would be someone from in the WCW or something like that too. Like that's a wrestler name too.
And then what was that one? Like look at that. There, a 3-person name, totally plays international soccer. There's no way that person does it.
Vic, any thoughts on my national anthem obsessions here?
They did have good old Eric Bischoff in the WCW.
Right, that's probably who I'm thinking of. That's why I knew that name.
Anyways, they don't show Adam Lee Decker on Bally, so I didn't really get to see him any.
That's
but I will the second round because it won't be on Bally. But yeah, I got nothing except for that.
See, I can even do this now. Now we can start seeing how they did on each anthem, each individual person. So like,
I'm gonna start calling you Simon Catlin though.
That's right.
See, I can see Adam Lee Decker. He's like a mid reliever for the Royals.
I like it. That could actually 100% be the case. So, all right, enough of that nonsense there. There we go. So let's get into the weekend drive-through, if we shall. So, of course, we're going to start with a little around the track. There was a pretty big NASCAR race, and this is where my expertise for NASCAR ends. I saw the big crash. I was very like the old George Carlin line is, where else can you see a 30-car pileup and not be involved in it, right? That's the fun of NASCAR. So, Sarah, what happened in this race?
So of course I wasn't watching this one. I was working again. But it was Talladega, which I'm sure you've at least heard the stories of Talladega. The many it's a very historic race. But obviously there was that big accident, which I'm pretty sure Scooter probably watched it a little bit more than I did. But Carson Hocevar won his first Cup Series with NASCAR at Talladega. A lot of people are trying to compare him to Dale Earnhardt, which I don't see that resemblance yet because he crashes a lot. But maybe this race will kind of have people see the vision that he is a better racer than he has had the luck of, or the, I guess to say, the bad luck of having in his past races, and just like the history with him in general, because he has terrible luck. I'll say it, terrible luck, but his luck finally came in today or yesterday. I've lost track of my days.
Yesterday, that's true. Scooter, did you see any of the race?
Yeah, so Carson Hocevar, I think the real equivalent is he is the equivalent to Cole Trickle in Days of Thunder. Like, if he gets in my way, I'm just putting him to the wall. Like, he drives a lot like Dale Earnhardt would, but like he's got like this attitude of Cole Trickle, and he's one of the fastest racers out there, and he's kind of on this mid-level track. But if this kid gets everything going, he could win a lot of races. Is the thing, and he gets on people's nerves because of the way he drives. But he won. Strangely enough, he wasn't actually a part of the 28-car wreck, which they always call it the big one in Talladega. Sometimes there's multiple little ones. But the big one is that was a big one because you had some, but it wasn't crazy. I've seen many more. I've seen many crazier big ones at Talladega than that one. That one just had a lot of cars in it, and it took a lot because everyone's like banging into each other. Now I've seen them where, like last lap, Brian Vickers, he's in second place. His teammate Jimmy Johnson's right ahead of him on the final lap, on the backstretch. Friggin' Vickers just pushes Jimmy Johnson away, spins him out. Every car behind him, Jimmy Johnson goes flying in the air. Brian Vickers comes in, wins, and everybody hates Brian Vickers at this point. And he, lo and behold, he wasn't on the Richard Hendricks Racing after that season. He did wind up marrying, he's in the Epstein files. Let's just put it that way. His now ex-wife was like Jeffrey Epstein's secretary or something crazy. You can look it up.
I'll take your word for it. When you said the big one, I immediately went to Robert from good old Sanford and Son. Oh, it's the big one! It's the big one! Oh, go now. It's a heart attack. All right. Vic, any thoughts on this race before we wrap up our around the track segment?
I saw about the last 50 laps or so. It was a pretty good last 50 laps, so I'm not too mad I saw it. Hocevar is extremely aggressive. I guess that's why they say he's like Dale Earnhardt. So I guess that's the reason. I don't know, but he's not as talented as Earnhardt was.
Well,
Yeah.
What I'm hearing is he basically drives like everyone else does on I-40 in Raleigh. If he's aggressive.
No. Like
Pretty much.
I-95.
I-95. Okay.
But actually, after the race, what he did was he got
Yes.
on the window and rode around the track and actually hit the wall again, riding around sitting out the window. So it's pretty wild. NASCAR said they weren't going to ban it if it did it again. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, that was pretty fun.
Well, yeah.
His
Nothing like
nickname is
teaching-
the Hurricane Hocevar.
Nothing like teaching kids how to try to drive while hanging out of your car. That
They do it anyway, so it's not like it matters.
That's a valid point there. All right, so there we have it. So let's get into, if we recall, like the NFL draft was also this weekend. Actually, wait, hold on, before we go back to that, let's do this here before we do the NFL draft. There was this breaking news. Sorry, Scooter, I'm going to show your face real quick. So I was originally debating to touch on this now, but a recent transfer from Texas Tech, Brendan Sorsby, one of the top returning players, he's checking into a residential treatment program for gambling addiction. Supposedly this stems from his time, I think, at Cincinnati and Indiana. He allegedly bet on both of those teams, but he did not play in any of the games that he bet on. I don't know that that's going to matter. I think the NCAA only has really one choice. If they do find out that he did actually bet on college football games while at these schools, I think they got to ban him. I mean, I don't really see how you get around it. And this kind of gets back to the gambling show we did a while back. Like, you got to come down hard on something like this. Sarah, any thoughts on it?
This is news to me. I'm not really aware of it. I know to anything Texas Tech related, I just know the quarterback got drafted, and I don't even remember where. So that's all I got. I don't know anything about this story.
Vic, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I have to make an example out of him just so nobody does it again, that kind of thing. So I guess we'll see.
Agree. Scooter, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's in big trouble because it's an NCAA violation where they can kick you out. You know, they can rescind your eligibility for life if you're betting on games of your school.
I believe so.
Or on games of the program you're with. And if he's betting, if he's not playing redshirt freshman with Indiana, he's on the team. And he's going to school at Indiana, and he's betting games that Indiana's playing in. So he's in a lot of trouble if that's all true.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
He may never play again.
It'll be interesting to see how quickly the NCAA comes down on it because, you know, whenever the hell the NFL holds their supplemental draft, I mean, he'd have probably no choice but to enter that and see what the heck happens and see if anyone takes a shot on him, which would be curious to see if anyone gives up a pick for him or not. I don't know if they will. I think he needed this year for that to happen. So, but speaking of draft, you know, this was a hard year, I think, for our mock draft because there were a lot of trades, and whenever there's a lot of trades, it's just going to throw stuff off. So we didn't really get that many correct like we did the year before. I mean, obviously, I got the first pick right, but let's be honest, that's the easiest pick that's ever probably been made. So I mean, that wasn't exactly hard. Dylan did a really good job. He got the David Bailey pick correct at 2. He also got, when he picked for Kansas City, he got the guy right, and you know Kansas City did move up from 9 to 6 to get him, but that's still the guy that he said that Kansas City was going to get. So that's a 100% count for me. And then he got the Kansas City pick, their second pick, correct at 29 when he drafted Peter Woods. So shout out to Dylan, he did a great job. He nailed 3 of the picks that he made. So that was pretty good to see. Then we had a couple that did pretty good, like you know the gentleman Jack picked for Tampa Bay. They did take an edge. So these are guys where they took the right position. They took an edge. They just took Bain instead of Mesdor because I don't think anyone thought that Bain was going to be there at 15. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Dustin for Detroit, they did take an offensive line. They just took Miller instead of Proctor. And again, that's one where I think we had Miller going before. So the fact that he was there at 17, that makes sense. Then we had a few players that were taking a spot, but were different teams do the trade. Like Nancy thought Miami was going to take Caleb Downs. Instead, Miami trades with Dallas, so the player goes in that spot. It's just to Dallas instead of Miami. And then I give this one partial credit because Axel took with the Toledo safety for their first pick in the pick 26. They ended up taking him, but it was in round 3. So to me, that still counts. Midnight Rider said, no, it doesn't count because it's a mock first round draft. But I think he still gets partial credit because he still got the right team and the right player. So, I mean, overall, we did okay, but not great. So let's start with Scooter. Any surprises for you on day 1 from the mock draft, or from the real draft, I should say?
From the real draft, I was surprised. Like, if you go like top 10, everything kind of looks normal, right? But a few of the little things. But the biggest one was watching Arizona get Love. Now, I love Love. Love's a great, but did Arizona need Love right now? Could they trade it back maybe a little bit, pick up some more stuff, because they need more stuff? But I mean, you can't lose with Love. But the problem is in a few years, if he's going to be great, you're gonna have to pay him mega running back money, and then he's already on 4-year legs and even 5-year legs. We'll see. But I think that would be the biggest stretch for me.
Okay. Vic, any surprises to you from round 1?
Ty Simpson. But I guess that was everybody's big surprise, so I guess I'm not really going out of them on that one.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was surprised that he went in round 1. I think it was just that the Rams took him at 13. It's kind of funny because I was driving. Originally I started off the show at Ray's in Kent, and then we were driving home. I was looking for Ty's name, but I wasn't looking for him at 13. So like I put into the chat there saying, I'm shocked no one's traded up to get Ty Simpson. Like, oh, that's because the Rams took him at 13. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I wasn't even looking there for them. So yes, that one definitely caught me by surprise too. Sarah, any surprises to you for round 1?
I mean, I'm sure Vic could talk about it too. Carolina got Monroe Freeling, which at least in the mock draft, gosh, I don't even know who was it, but somebody predicted them for Cleveland to take them, so we ended up taking them. So I like the pick for sure. I definitely think it's something we can have to protect Bryce Young. Of course, I still would have liked maybe possibly getting Lemon, like they also said in the draft. And then I don't know if we're already talking about it, but that crazy story with Pittsburgh trying to get him and then Philly stealing it.
Yeah, like Pittsburgh was literally on the phone with him, talking to him, saying, hey, we're taking you next. And then next thing they know, Philly makes a trade with Dallas, which is even weirder, like Philly and Dallas making trades together, and Philly sneaks in and takes the kid. So yeah, that's definitely interesting. But actually, it's tough luck for Pittsburgh, I guess. And who knows, but as a kid too, you're starting to get ready. But hey, you went a pick earlier. You're still going to be playing in Pennsylvania. So he's got that going for him. So I think my biggest surprise was how far Ruben Bain fell. Like, I did not see him going to 15. I was shocked by that. And it's great for Tampa because I think they needed a linebacker. So it's a hell of a pick for Tampa Bay at 15. I could not believe that he just kept falling and falling and falling. So that was definitely my first round surprise for sure. If anyone's watching out there, if you got any surprise from first round, feel free to throw them on in the chat on either Facebook or on X or in the old YouTube, and we'll read those comments too if you got any. So now let's get into this. So how did our teams do? So Scooter, for your Washington Commanders, how do you feel like your Commanders did when you look at the draft overall?
I mean, I thought they did really well. Like it went. I mean, Sonny Styles is falling into their lap. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better guide for the next 12 to 15 years, possibly, being the captain of that defense, that was great. They went after a wide receiver. They got a running back that could fill up C-Rod's shoes, the big runner in the middle, getting close at the end zones. They got a center, a backup center right now. They needed to get a center or at least some sort of alignment. But they didn't re-sign the center from last year, so they were in the market for a center. And then they got a quarterback. I don't really think that they should have drafted a quarterback because you could always pick them up the day after the draft, whatever you want to. But I thought that was kind of stupid. But all in all, I thought it was a nice draft. It's gonna work well, specifically that defense and the players they brought in on offense should help too.
All right, I can't disagree with that. Vic, any thoughts on either Washington or your Carolina Panthers and how they did?
I agree with Sarah. I like the Freeling pick. He's only 21. I think he'll be 22 later this year, so he's fairly young. So considering how the NFL is going now, we'll probably get 9 years out of him, hopefully good years. So overall, I was happy with that pick. And then they got that Haynes King at UDFA from Georgia Tech, the big running dude. So I'm hoping they'll use him in a Taysom Hill kind of role because at Georgia Tech he was really good at that. So I'm hopeful. And going back to the Commanders, I agree about Sonny Styles. He reminds me of Luke Kuechly with I had it in my brain, but another linebacker speed, a speedy linebacker that I forgot the name, but anyway, his smarts are Luke Kuechly. He's a really smart player, so I like that pick a lot. And what else? I think that's about it.
Okay. Sarah, so which team do you want to jump on the Carolina side? Do you want to jump on the Raiders side? Which team, or is there another team out there you want to talk?
Mostly going to be on the Raiders side. I mean, from what I know of Carolina, I know they got Lemon. I believe they also like signed a couple extra guys from NC State and Duke, which is also like a good like hometown thing. I'm not 100% sure of like who exactly and what positions, but I definitely feel good about Carolina, and I do feel good about the Raiders too. I know you're kind of deferring on that memo, but I mean, I like most. I mean, obviously, gotta love Mendoza. I kind of wish we went like a little bit more offense, but I still think like I mean, we at least got a running back and a wide receiver, so I think that can help. We also did get somebody from NC State too, Brandon Cleveland. Yep. So I'm happy about that, and we signed a couple of guys at least in. I think we signed another guy from there too. But I also do want to mention we got Jermon McCoy, and I don't know like if you're happy about that one, Dad, but like that's at least I didn't bring it up then because I mean there's other ones that I thought were kind of shocked about, but like McCoy fell 3 rounds. He was a predicted first round, pick, and we got him in the 4th round. That's insane. But I think I'm happy about the pickup at least.
Yeah, I agree on that one because in the 4th round, to me, I've always looked at once you get to round 4 and later, like it's a roll the dice if this player's ever gonna contribute, like for in an NFL team anyway. So getting him in the 4th round, it's a low risk, high reward. If it's just all a question of can his knees hold up and how long can they hold up for, right? So I didn't mind that pick. The only one I didn't really like was the Traden Stukes pick, the safety from Georgia. He's a fine player. I think he's going to be more made into a nickelback. But at the time, Zion Young was still sitting there on the board. Who ends up falling somehow miraculously into Baltimore's lap. Just what they needed was another great edge rusher. But I'm like, man, having him along with Crosby, that would have been really, really, really nice. And they took an edge rusher in the 3rd round, but he's Kenyon Crawford from Arkansas. He's physical, but he can also get blown up a lot in the running game from what I've seen and heard. So, like, does that really help us? Like, we already can't stop the runs. Now, yay, we got somebody else that can't stop the run. So, we'll see about all those picks. I think they're okay. Like, and a lot of people gave the Raiders an A in the draft grade. So, I'll go with what the experts feel, but I didn't like the 2nd pick just because I really wanted Zion Young. When I saw that he was there, it's like, oh my God, we can draft Zion Young, and they let him go. So that's it for that. All right, so there's our thoughts on the teams. I do want to touch on this real quickly. The Mike Vrabel news is really hit. He decided that he's going to leave the team, but we all know he's going to leave the team until it becomes time for him to be there. So him leaving the team now, to me, it's not that big of a deal. So he'll be back with probably no real issues. Diana Rossini has to basically quit her job with the Athletic and basically in hiding, which I don't understand. Like, she's not the one that cheated. He cheated, not her. But that's a whole different story. So who knows? There's a whole bunch of other possibilities out there. I'm not going to get into that. That's not really our place here. But we'll touch quickly on Vrabel. Do you think the question I'll have to you guys is, do you think this is going to hurt him at all with the team? Scooter, you can go first.
I think he's expected back this week, so it's only like a few days here and there. So it's like, well, okay, sure. But right. I mean, it could come across to the guys, hey, he could do the whole like we're all bros here, and it could work with him because he's kind of like one of those locker room type of fellas. but it could definitely work with them. Now, yeah, I mean, Diana Rossini, I liked her a lot. She had a big deal in I think it was like NBC News 4 in DC for a long time. So I followed her a bit. So I was kind of shocked that was going on with her, because she's also married and has kids as well. So I mean, they were both cheating, it sounds like. It'll be a lot tougher for her to get any kind of job than it will be for him.
Yeah, which that's the part that kind of fires me up a little bit, but I digress on that. So, Vic, any thoughts on this story at all?
Not really, honestly. I'll just let y'all handle it. I agree with everything pretty much. Yeah, so we're good.
Sarah, how about? I'm curious your thoughts on this being on the ladies' side of this. What are your thoughts on this thing?
I mean, I would at least hope. I know this sounds weird, but I would hope that he has trouble getting back, at least getting his respect back from his team. I would hope he's at least lost a majority of it in the best way possible. Because I mean, you just have to hold people to those standards, really. Like Drake May, I hope he kind of, I hope he's better about it. I mean, who knows? It could be a situation, I hate to bring it up, but with the U.S. men's hockey team where they don't stand up for things that they should have. But I mean, I don't know. I can hope, but I really don't know, honestly, until I see them on the field.
Yeah.
If they have a worse season, I can probably guess that it would be Vrabel's last season. But
I like it. All right, well, let's do this. Let's take a real quick break, and then we will get into some baseball. We'll be right back after this. All right, everybody, we are back with our Line Drive segment. We'll get you some baseball news here because we are about 30 games into the season already, which is kind of weird. Some teams are 25 to 30, depends on which team you're at. So the leading news, I think, of course, is Alex Cora gets fired in Boston. A lot of surprise that they also fired their hitting coach, Peter Fotze, something like that, bench coach Ramon Vasquez, third base coach Kyle Hudson, and assistant hitting coach Dylan Lawn. The weird part is they fired all these guys after they beat Baltimore 17-1, and then they fired everyone that had to do with hitting. So, but they are off to a slow start. They're 10-17. I think there's a lot of expectations for this Red Sox team. So we'll see what they do. 6'10", 541, one of the winningest managers in Red Sox history in the 7 seasons. He also won the World Series in 2018. So, Vic, I'm going to start with you because I know you kind of have some love for the Red Sox. So let's start with you on this one. What are your thoughts on all this?
They also fired Jason Varitek, who was their former captain. That was the wrong one there. You don't fire Varitek. But
what are your thoughts on Cora after the time that's passed and stuff?
I think the biggest problem is the owner, but he's not going to fire himself. So, John Henry, who also is the owner of Liverpool Football Club in England, but I don't know. It seems like a lot of the players disagree with what happened with Cora and the firing. So I don't know. It's a big mess over there in good old Boston.
Yeah, but we'll have to see how the record does over these next 30 days or so.
Yep. But that's all on Boston.
Scooter, what you got on it? Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's this is a dumpster fire and then some. When did the Boston Red Sox become the Dan Snyder run Washington Redskins? It's horrible over there. I get it. You're when you're not winning, your manager is there's going to be some of that kind of stuff going on. But I mean, everything they're doing in Boston right now is just it's going to get worse over there this year, and nothing they do is going to help this at all. I mean, they may have it's not going to be a record bad season, but it could be one of the worst seasons in Boston franchise history. For everything that the general manager didn't do, You know, they didn't add bats. They couldn't get anything. They lost players. And when they brought in players, the players suck. And so that's what's going on in Boston. And poor Alex Cora is like, so they fire everyone from the hotel. So they roll in a coach van to the hotel. Actually, the Red Sox did, to take them to the airport to get rid of them. And the funniest thing on the back of this coach van, it says coaches for hire. Not a joke, because it is a coach and it's for hire. But that was the craziest thing that happened there. But yeah, they're in big trouble down in Boston. I don't know what they're going to do.
Sarah, any thoughts on it?
I couldn't tell you.
Oh, by the way, John Henry is also, if in NASCAR, there's Roush Fenway Racing.
Right.
He's the Fenway Roush Fenway Racing.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of bad baseball teams, how about the New York Mets and the Philadelphia Phillies? The Mets just recently had a 12-game losing streak last week. They're 9-19. Philly had a 10-game losing streak of their own. Also sitting at 9-19. The Mets have scored 92. They've given up 122. Philly scored 102 runs, but they've given up 156 runs. That's second worst behind Houston. Schwarber's got 9 homers, but he's batting 197. Most of their teams below 260. Their pitching's been bad, other than Christopher Sanchez, who's at 294. Duran's been okay, but they can't get him into the games because they're not leading any games into ninth inning. Then you got the poor Mets, who their highest batting average is Francisco Alvarez at 240. The starting pitching's been really good. We'll get into a couple later that are doing well in the leaders, but they just are not getting any hits. So, Scooter, are the Mets and Phillies really this bad, or is this just a little blip?
Okay, so they're not really this bad. The Phillies may be a little worse off, and this isn't like Red Sox stuff. This is like, they just don't have the players. No, they have some great players, trust me, in the Phillies. But after their top 5, there's not much there. There might be a few, pitchers here and there. The Mets, they've been struggling because, pretty much, this just shows you how big Juan Soto is for that team. He was basically out that entire time that they lost. And that team has not derailed, if you will. It's the Mets. So it's kind of, everyone's like, oh, it's understandable. It's the Mets. They kind of do this. And so, okay, so they're a little more Red Sox-y than the Phillies. So the Phillies will sort of get their they'll go through the season, and they may even do a few trades to jump themselves back in the wild card. But then they'll reshift at the end of this season. The Mets, I don't know. I think these two teams are where they are right now, and they may. I'm not going to say that they'll incrementally get better, but it's. I don't know if the season's worth it anymore.
Vic, any thoughts on the terrible Mets and terrible Phillies?
Well, being a Braves fan, I'm perfectly fine with both losing streaks. So.
That's true. I'm sure. I agree.
But no, just they're both good teams in my opinion. They're just struggling.
I always love seeing the Mets struggle. I'm a little surprised with Philly, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Sarah, any thoughts on the bad Mets or bad Phillies? Or are you just enjoying it?
I would be enjoying it if it was the other New York team.
Sadly, it's not.
Huh?
Said sadly, it's not.
No, it's not. Hey, the Mets, the fans themselves kind of like predicted themselves because George Washington messed up the anthem, and now it's all over. So
that's true. They've been bad ever since. So on the flip side of this, how good is the NL Central? Every team is above 500 right now. Since he's off to one of their best starts since way back in the day at 18-10. The Cubs are second at 17-11. You got Pittsburgh right behind at 16-12, and then you got St. Louis and Milwaukee at 14-13. So this is a really, we talked a lot about the NL Central, that this could be a really close division, and it is. I just didn't think that we'd have every team above 500. So, Scooter, are you loving the NL Central? Do you think some teams are going to come back to earth here?
Yeah, all teams do come back to earth, and some teams get a little better. I think the National League Central is going to be the tight one, and where all these teams are going to be tight for a while. The National League West is tight as well. It's not so much a runaway yet. But that National League Central is just, they're all above 500, like you said, and they're all battling each other out hardcore. So it's really nice to see. Some of those are some of the some of the teams that aren't like, you don't get the Pirates, the Reds, the Brewers. They don't get enough of the exposure as some of these other teams. So it's good to see.
I agree. Vic, any thoughts on the NL Central?
The Pirates are my surprise team so far. Even though I thought they might have the pitching, I wasn't expecting the hitting to be as good as it has been so far.
Yeah, they're scoring runs for sure. Agree. Sarah, any thoughts on the NL Central?
I mean, should we be enjoying this? It's more competition for us.
Yeah, they're in the NL. It's okay.
I guess.
Although it is kind of concerning that the record, I can't remember what it was last time I saw. I think the NL is like 20 games over 500 from the AL as far as when they're having the interleague games. Like the NL is just killing the AL, which is very obvious in the standings, which we'll get to next.
Yeah.
So I'm calling this so far the season of mediocrity because especially in the American League, you have the Yankees at 18-10, you have Houston at 11-18. Everyone else is right in between, and there's a lot of teams at 14-13 or 13-14 or 15-12, like just a lot of bunched up. You don't in the NL, it's similar except for 3 teams. You have LA, San Diego, and Atlanta that are just they're at 20-9 and just off like crazy. Those 3 teams are playing really good ball, and unfortunately, the Yankees are the top in the AL. But there's a lot of mediocrity right now in baseball. So, Scooter, do you think that we're going to see some teams eventually pull away, or is Major League Baseball finally getting the love that Pete Rozelle had in the NFL of every team's going to be in this thing until the end, especially with the fact that you got a third wild card team?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of teams that are going to stick around in it, but. I mean, don't throw the Blue Jays out at all right now. They're 12-15, yes, but they've 2 of their best players haven't even played yet, and they should be coming back soon within the next 2 weeks. They should be incrementally get better. So I would see the Blue Jays being up there with the besides the Red Sox now, this is a really good division. But the Blue Jays, I mean, the Orioles have some problems too with pitching, obviously, but the Blue Jays will get back up there. I think they're that one team. I know you got other teams like the Royals. We thought they'd be a little better. I mean, 11-17. That's there's no track record with them. So really,
agree. Vic, any thoughts on the on just that part of it of where everyone's jumbled up?
Nothing really except it's kind of early, so I guess we'll see what happens about 90 or 100 games in. Then maybe we can talk some.
Agree. Sarah, anything else to add?
I mean, having a season of mediocrity is probably the way it's going to go. I mean, if it's going to be the last season for a little bit, why not prove that hey, everything's going wrong with all the teams not doing so great, except LA.
Midnight Rider checking in saying it hasn't gotten hot yet. I think it's still too early, which probably true on that. Also, now we're 25 games in. Where are we at with the ABS system? What's interesting is about 1 in every 74 pitches is what's getting challenged. It's at a 54% success rate. So I think catchers are doing really well. They're at 60%. They're kind of leading with the challenges for where a pitch that was called a ball's been a strike. But I think what we're seeing is the umpires are actually really pretty good at this. Like, I mean, some of these that have been off, like we're talking like fractions of an inch is what the difference is on them being a ball and strike. Arizona's doing really well at 62%. The worst is the Nats at 39.6. But what's interesting is the refs, the umpires that are doing well and some that aren't. Like Andy Fletcher has had 28 calls challenged. Of those 28 calls challenged, 24 have been overturned. Chris Siegel has had 22 of his 28 overturned. Of course, there's our good old buddy CB Buckner, but he had a concussion, so he hasn't been umpiring that much because he's still out. But then you do have some good ones. You have Emel Jimenez, who's only had 10 pitches of 970 be challenged, and of those 10 that are challenged, only 1 got overturned. John Turpane has had 1,199 pitches. 14 of those have been challenged, and only 3 of those have been overturned. Eric Bacchus, 1,562 pitches, only 13 challenges and 3 overturned. So there are some umpires that are doing pretty damn good at balls and strikes, and I think it's pretty evident too. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's allowed the players to challenge those ones, but I think we're seeing that the umpires, for the most part, get a lot of these calls right, and the ones that they're missing are pretty borderline. Scooter, what are your thoughts on the ABS?
Yeah, 100%. You're right. Like it seemed to work the way it should, and it's not happening. It'll probably happen less frequently, and it's not happening that frequently. 1 out of 74. I don't think that's like, that through one starting pitcher, that would be like one pitch of a starting pitcher going like 8 innings, if you will. 74 pitches, that would be in that range. So that's not that bad. And what it's really doing is, like you were saying, is it's showing that the umpires are pretty good. They pretty much got it. So, and then when they're challenged, it's really not, they win the challenges, the umpires, really, if you think about it. So that's good on the umpires too. It's good to see.
All right, I agree. Vic, any thoughts on it?
I think it's been interesting. Like, you can see some of the pitchers adjusting and pitching somewhat differently, and then, same with the batters. So it's been interesting to watch some of the games I've been watching so far when I've had like a game to watch or so. But yeah, I think it's been very good, actually.
Yeah, I like it too in the stadium. It's always neat when they showed up there and you get the crowd reaction too, whether they're happy or not with it. That's always
Like
been fun too to watch. Yeah, exactly. So, Sarah, any thoughts on it?
Couldn't tell you.
Okay, that's what she's here for. She's here for those type of insights. That's what we look. That's why she's here. All right, that's it for baseball. We're gonna get into some hockey next. So let's do this. Let's take one quick break, and then it's gonna be time to drive to the net. We've got a lot of hockey playoffs and hockey to talk about. So we're gonna get into that right after this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's time to start the drive to net. I'm going to start with the best news of all for hockey fans. TV ratings are up across the board. The regular season, both ESPN and TNT announced that the numbers were 20% higher than the year before. The opening weekend for the NHL playoffs, which was not this last weekend, but the weekend before that, had the highest ratings of any non-game 7 for the first round in cable history. Philly, Pittsburgh had 2.1 million, 1.9 for Dallas, Minnesota, 1.7 for Boston, Buffalo. So despite not having a lot of these big markets in here, it's clear that the Olympic bump is in full effect, and I'm really happy to see it. I assume, Scooter, you're happy as well.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, people love playoff hockey. Even those that don't watch hockey that much, they understand, but they love sports and competition. They tend to go to watch NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. It makes sense. It's great entertainment.
It is, and better live, of course, but I'm glad to see on TV that it's doing well. So I assume, Vic, you're also happy with the numbers?
Very.
Sarah? Yes, shaking head, yes. Okay, we'll take that. All right, so now let's get into where we're at with all these leagues. So we're going to start with the ladies. The PWHL is in their playoffs. So the regular season just ended. There were 8 teams in the 4 teams make it to the playoffs are Montreal, Boston, Minnesota, and Ottawa. Montreal is officially the #1 seed over Boston due to the tiebreakers. There's a very unique formula that the PWHL did this year as a trial, and I'd love to see the NHL do this. So Montreal got to pick between teams 3 and 4 who they played in the first round. Now, what surprised me is that they decided to take Minnesota, which is the 2-time defending champion. They decided to take them. Now, the reason why is because they did go 4-0 against them this year, but I'm still kind of surprised that you take on the defending champs. I don't know if they're going to regret that and kind of put a target on their back and probably fire up Minnesota even more. But Minnesota is the 2-time defending champs in this thing. What's going to be the story, though, is all 4 of these goalies are amazing, and you're going to recognize these names because all 4 were front and center in the Olympics. You got Henri Debenz from Montreal, who was, of course, the goalie for Canada. All 3 of Teams USA's goalies are in this thing. Boston is led by Aaron Frankel. Ottawa has Gwyneth Phillips. and Minnesota has Matty Rooney. All 4 of these goalies have had 93% save percentages or above, and goals against average of 2. So what I would tell people to expect for the PWHL playoffs is a lot of low-scoring, close games, because with these 4 goalies, they're just not going to give up a lot. So, Scooter, do you like Minnesota to repeat for the 3-peat?
No, I'm picking Montreal the victoire.
All right, so you're going to let Canada win something, at least it sounds like. All right, I like that. Vic, who you got?
Who's got Frankel? I'll go with them.
Boston has Frankel.
Boston, then.
All right. Sarah, what you got for the PWHL?
I know you don't like the French people, but I'm going Montreal.
That's true. I'm going with my Minnesota Frost. I want the 3-peat. Give me the 3-peat. So Minnesota was the 4 seed the first 2 times when they won this thing. This time they're 3, so maybe that'll throw them off. But I don't know. I think Montreal put a little target on them back. So we'll see how that goes. But it is best 3 out of 5. All these series are best 3 out of 5. So that's the PWHL. So now let's get into the minor league hockey is also in here. So this is the East Coast Hockey League. This is like AA baseball.
The Nailers.
Baseball.
Chip has his own team.
The Wheeling Nailers. I know, right? So the Kansas City Mavericks, which is Seattle's, they are the team to beat. They scored 115 points and lead the West. The Florida Everblades for St. Louis is the best out east. They had 108. Fort Wayne, which is with Edmonton, and Wheeling, which is Pittsburgh's, are the other 2 1 seeds. We will have a new champ this year because Troyes Rivers for Montreal did not make the playoffs. Florida won it the 2 years before that. Toledo has lost the last 2 years in the final. But these are just kind of getting underway. This coming week is where all these series will get started. So probably by next Monday, we should be all these series will be over because these are also best 3 out of 5 series. So that's your East Coast Hockey League update. The American Hockey League, you need like a math degree to figure out how they do this thing. It's so stupid. They have in the one division 8 teams make 7 teams make the playoffs, and in other divisions only 5 teams. In one division, 6 teams make it. I don't know why it's set up this way. Like they have these first round games, which are best 2 out of 3. Division semis are best of 5. Some of those series have already started. It's just stupidity at its finest in the American Hockey League, but it is what it is when you got this many teams, I guess, and they're trying to get teams into the playoffs. So Providence is your best team out east, which is, of course, the Providence Bruins, which means that, they are with Boston. Grand Rapids, which is Detroit, is the only other team that had over 100 points. And just like in the East Coast Hockey League, we will have a new champion because Abbotsford, the defending champions who defeated Charlotte last year, they are not in the playoffs. So that's just a real quick look at the minor league hockey and what's
Well, I'm disappointed the Hartford Wolfpack did not make the playoffs this year. Even though they have to play the Hershey Bears, where I was born in Bridgeport, Connecticut, the Bridgeport Islanders are in. So that's nice to see. I've been to that arena too, by the way. And I watched an Islander Whaler game there once. It was a preseason game.
This is the last year for Bridgeport because they are moving to Ottawa, I believe, next year, if I remember hearing correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So sad news there. So, all right. So that's the minor league hockey real quick. Now let's get into what we are really here to talk about, and that is the NHL playoffs. So we are going to go through here series by series. We'll give you the breakdown of everything that we thought. We'll start with the 2 sweeps. So Colorado did sweep LA. Other than game 4, this was really a pretty tight series. LA played them pretty well. I don't think that, it's not like Colorado came and blew them out, but it was still a sweep, and that's all that matters. Sadly for LA, it does mean the end of Anze Kopitar. 20-year career is over. He did not score any in the 4 games. He was a -5. LA was led by Alex Lafreniere, who had 4 assists, Arturi Panarin, who had 2 goals and assists, but just not enough offense. Antoine Forsberg was okay in goal, 2.70 goals against with a .909 save percentage. Scott Wedgwood for Colorado, just amazing, a 1.21 goals against average, a .950 save percentage. And then their big boys were scoring. Gabriel Landeskog, Nathan McKinnon, and Artur Lehkonen all had 4 points. Only 2 points from Cale Makar and Martin Necas, which is still, a bit of a surprise. Colorado's power play was only 9% too, and yet they still swept. What that says to me is this is not good news if you're rooting for anyone other than Colorado, because they still have lots of room to improve, and they swept this series. Scooter, what were your thoughts on it?
I mean, they barely give up any goals, so you're going to win series. you're going to not lose a lot of games either if you're not allowing any goals. So that's how you sweep a series. That's the way.
This is the way. That's in Mandalorian, right? Vic, what are your thoughts on this series?
So coming in, Colorado's goaltending was my main issue with them, but so far in that series, it didn't seem like too much of a problem.
No, Wedgwood was really, really good this whole
So we'll
entire
see.
series.
We'll see how that goes the rest of the next series. And so,
Sarah, what'd you think of the series?
I mean, I think I had Colorado in 5. I at least thought LA would at least be able to get 1, especially in one of their games. But I mean, we all kind of saw this coming. That I got concerned in the first 2 games because of how close the scoring was. I mean, one goal games, 1 goal loss. Like those are pretty big, especially with against such a powerful team like Colorado. I think I'm just more so disappointed that Kopitar's season is over.
Yeah, I mean, we can get into that a little bit now too. I think, obviously, clearly, first ballot Hall of Famer, won a couple of different Stanley Cups with them. Sadly, probably not the way that he wants to go out with not even getting a goal or assist in this entire series. But the gentleman of all gentlemen, he's been one of those players, just very well respected in the league. You could see that when wherever his last games were played in this year. So clearly, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the greats, probably of we'll see where I reign him all time. I'll give it some time to think about that, but he probably still won't crack the top 10 of all time. But a damn good player for sure. First ballot Hall of Famer. Scooter, what do you got on him?
Yeah, definitely not cracking top 10, probably not top 25 or top 30, but he is one of the great players and one heck of a career, several Stanley Cups. And, just like a lot of players on LA during this series, he didn't score. So, you're going to take the championships and you're going to, enjoy life with all the millions upon millions of dollars that he made.
Yep. Agree. Vic, any thoughts on Kopitar?
what they said.
What they said. I like that. Sarah, you said it a little bit already.
I started it.
Yep, you did. All right. Then we get to one that we like a lot. Carolina takes care of Ottawa 4-0. Again, this reminded me a lot of, like, unfortunately for for us Carolina fans, when Florida swept us that one year. Like, all 4 games were extremely close. You could make an argument that Ottawa had a chance to win, especially games 2 and 3, and even game 4. Game 4 got a little bit chippy. We'll leave that off the table for now. But this was a series where I think a lot of people thought Ottawa could give Carolina some trouble. They did, but it's still a sweep. Linus Allmark, just amazing. 2.03 goals against average, a .932 save percentage. But the big deal here for Ottawa is their big boys did not score. Brady Tkachuk had a goose egg in points. Tim Stützle just scored 1 point. Drake Batherson was their leading scorer at 4 points. And when Drake Batherson is your leading scorer, that's probably not a good sign. For Carolina, the story is Freddie Anderson, who outdueled Allmark. He had a 1.10 goals against average and a .955 save percentage. And if you recall, a lot of us Carolina fans were worried about goaltending, and Freddie was just lights out. And then the line of Taylor Hall, Logan Stankoven, and Jackson Blake, who really did do all the scoring for Carolina. Hall had 7 points. Stank had 5 points, with 4 of those being goals. Blake has 4 points. Carolina only gave up 1 power play goal the entire series, and Ottawa had 4 different 5-on-3s, and yet could only get 1 power play goal. And that is really the difference in this series. So we'll let Scooter, you can start first. Any thoughts on this one?
Well, I think I had that Carolina in either 4 or 5 games. If they lost that game 2 in double overtime, I feel like I'd expect them to win 3 more games in a row. So Carolina took care of Ottawa. Ottawa didn't score much, so it's looking good for Carolina so far.
Vic, any thoughts on it?
So everybody's hating on the Hurricanes' first line, but the 2 first lines kind of canceled each other out because they're both solid defensively. So after that, you go to the other lines, and the other lines outplayed Ottawa's. So, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Agree. Sarah, what do you like about the series?
So I did think, at least, I didn't think Carolina would be able to sweep them. I at least thought maybe we always let a team get a game or 2, usually. But I have a friend that is an Ottawa fan, and he texted me, and he's like, what did you put in your second line? Like, why is it like that? But I mean, gotta give the kudos. I mean, us Canes fans, we thrive off of people underestimating us. So, like, there's a bunch of popular like hockey handles that I follow, and they thought Ottawa was gonna win this, and now they're like, oh shoot, and now people are saying that the people that thought Ottawa was gonna win this think Carolina's gonna take it to the cup. So, I don't know. I just think it's funny that so many people doubted it, but oh well.
Yeah. A couple crazy thoughts for me. The first one is the double overtime game, because that's the game in years past Carolina's lost, right? And then that's when sometimes things have started to get out of control. This time we won that game, so I'm curious to see what that does. Carolina is the first team since the Detroit Red Wings in 2009 to lead an entire series in the 4 games and not trail at any point in time in the 4 games. So for what that's worth, there's just a little fun stat there that doesn't happen that often. So of course Carolina will get the winner of Pittsburgh and Philly. We'll get into that here after this series. I want to touch on this one first. This was last night. Anaheim takes a 3-1 lead over Edmonton. Edmonton wins game 1, and Anaheim rolls off 3 in a row. And raise your hand if you're shocked by this. Edmonton has had trouble playing defense and goaltending. I know it's surprising, but here we are again, another playoff year, and Edmonton still continues to struggle with this. A little bit of a controversy last night in the overtime winner that originally wasn't, called a goal, but then they did call it a goal. Then, the replay, it's one of those ones that barely crosses the line. I don't know if there's a definitive view that shows it did or didn't cross the line, but you could, by where the puck is, it seems like most of it crossed. It seems like it did cross the line in 100%, which is what is required. But Edmonton fans are, of course, pissed off about the way that went down. But again, the story of this is just bad team defense for Edmonton. Connor Ingram started the first 3 games, had a nice, beautiful 4.70 goals against average, and just an .849 save percentage. They finally played Tristan Jarry, who they got from Pittsburgh in the big goalie trade. We'll go over how that hasn't worked out well for Pittsburgh here next. But it also did not work out well for Jarry. He was better, but still an .895 save percentage, and he did give up the 4 goals. Leon Draisaitl has 7 points. McDavid has 4, but just 2 goals. The problem is defense. Wallman has 4 points, but it's a -6. McDavid is a -6. Zach Hyman scored a goal, but it's a -5. Anaheim's been okay in goal. They've got from Lucas Dostal. He's got a 3.75 goals against average and 877 save percentage. So not great, but you are going up against Edmonton, a very high scoring team. Anaheim, though, is scoring goals. They got Jackson Lacombe with 8 points, a goal and 7 assists. Cutter Gauthier and Ryan Poling both had 3 goals each. And Anaheim's power play is working at a 50% clip. When your power play is scoring at 50%, you are going to win games, and that's how they are winning these games. Scooter, what are your thoughts on this series?
Well, I think you're saying I think I picked Edmonton to win this one, but I didn't. I thought it'd be kind of close. I think you're finally starting to see them kind of get slow down. I mean, they've been in the Cup Finals for years now straight, and they're playing Game 7s all over the place. How many more games can these guys on that team play until it just starts wearing out? I know you got heart and soul and everything. But, I mean, we saw what happened with Florida this year. I mean, Anaheim's got them on the jugular now. This is their time to take them out. If they don't take them out now, they may be in trouble. Edmonton can come back. But this is a huge chance for Anaheim.
Agree. Vic, what are your thoughts on it?
McDavid is sad. He's just sad. He looked good in these colors next year. So, yeah.
You're not getting McDavid. What are you talking about?
Well, he's signed now too, so he's not even a free agent anymore. So, Sarah, what do we think on this one?
I mean, I'm definitely a little surprised. I do think Edmonton's still probably going to be able to get back if they take it to 7. I mean, I think it's definitely going to be a painful round against the winner of Utah and Vegas, depending on how that series goes, because I can see the Utah-Vegas series ending sooner, and then now you having Colorado, well, I guess going into that, and then Colorado being Colorado. Like, if Edmonton does make it to the Western Conference Finals, it's going to be painful because they're struggling against an Anaheim team, which, no offense, like, Anaheim's good, Like they're obviously rebuilding, but like you said, they have problems in their defense and their goaltending, and Edmonton's struggling against it.
Yeah. I mean, Edmonton scored 4 goals in the first 3 games and 3 goals in the 4th game. In the playoffs, that's usually good enough to win, or should be good enough to win. And it just is not happening for Edmonton because it's the same story over and over again. But we'll see. Edmonton has been in 3-1 holes before, but granted, that's against another team from California in LA. So will it be different with it being a team just a little bit further down south than LA and Anaheim? We will see. The other big surprise is Philly has a 3-1 games lead over Pittsburgh. Philly is just done enough, and we talk about the trade between Skinner and for going to Pittsburgh. It's not worked out really well for them either. He played really well in the regular season, but his numbers in the playoffs are just not good. He was 0-3 with a 3.08 and an 873 save percentage. They bring in Artur Slovals, who played for Latvia well in the Olympics. He only gave up 2 goals on 30 shots in game 4, so you know he will be playing tonight. Pittsburgh's led by Ricard Raquel with 4 points. Crosby, Carlson, and Malkin all have 3, but they're really not getting much else. For Philly, it's just been their sound D. Their D is playing really, really well. Vladar's been great in goal with a 1.76 and a 926 in the 4 games. Trevor Zegras has gotten the 4 points, and 13 of their 16 players have a point. So they're a well-balanced team, and they're playing good defense. They've only got 1 player with Porter Malone that has 2 goals. Everyone else for them has 1, but that's just how balanced the scoring is. Not really much on the power play for either team here. Philly's at 15%, Pittsburgh's at 20%. It's not really a big difference. It's just Philly's defense seems to be showing Pittsburgh's age. So, Scooter, any chance that you think Pittsburgh can climb back into this thing, or does this thing end tonight in Philly?
So it's interesting. The goalie, what's his name, Silas on Pittsburgh. So he's the first rookie Pittsburgh Penguin goalie to win his first playoff game when it's an elimination game since like 1992. And that was by a guy named Frank Pietrangelo, who had a great save in that game. And he wound up becoming my neighbor in Avon, Connecticut, when he played for the Hartford Whalers. And he's the last goalie to ever play in the playoffs for the Hartford Whalers, just to let you know that. But Pittsburgh can't now. I mean, if Philly, if tonight, if they're fast, Pittsburgh's done. Because that's just what's going on there. So Philly's fast, Pittsburgh's not. So it should be really great. Hopefully Philly wins this game. So it should be an interesting matchup against Carolina.
It's one of those ones too, though, right? If somehow Pittsburgh does win tonight, then you go back into Philly, and do the Philly fans start to get nervous and turn? So yeah, I think this Pittsburgh's got to. If Pittsburgh wins this one tonight, who knows? Maybe this thing somehow goes 6 or 7. Obviously we have to go 6, but maybe this one somehow goes 7. We'll see. Vic, what's your thoughts on the series?
Well, we'll see. Crosby was a man possessed the other night, so I'll never count a possessed Crosby out.
Yeah, it's true.
But I don't know. I don't see them winning 3 in a row, but I mean, we'll see.
It's tough.
Sarah, what do you think?
I mean, just putting it out there, Philly having a 3-0 lead and then choking it in 7 is a really Philly thing to do. So I think we can still leave it on the table because it is something that has happened before and something that will probably happen again because again, this is what Philly does. Now for my bracket, I'm hoping that happens. But I'm also won't be too upset about having to play Philly next round with Carolina because I still think we will be able to pull that off.
Yeah, I agree with that too. So, all right, we're 4 series in. We got four more to go. Let's take our last commercial break, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. We'll be right back. All right, so we are back. Let's get into this series a little bit. This one features, this one's the only one that's gotten 3 games in so far. Utah's up to a slight lead at 2 games to 1. Again, this one's been another one that's been really close, 4-2, 3-2, 4-2 has been the score of every game here. Kirill is the story for Utah. 2.36 goals against average, 916 save percentage. Scoring's been tough for Utah. They've only got 5 guys with 3 points, but they are getting some bounce scoring. Logan Cooley's kind of leading the way for them. Vegas, they decided to go with Connor Hart, so it kind of made me even root more against them with that decision. And he's not been great. He's got a 311 with an 892. Scoring's been tough for Vegas too. They've only got 3 guys with 3 points, which are two of them are Mark Stone and Jack Eichel. Neither power play's been that different. Utah's at 16%, Vegas is at 22%. So, I kind of said that I thought Utah would make this a series. It seems like they are so far. Game 4 is tonight. Scooter, what do you think?
So once Vegas actually starts shooting the puck on net, they can finally start scoring goals, because I guess they gave up 4 goals and 16 shots the other night, and that was it. Like, they gave up 16 shots. They gave up 4. If you do, you should never lose a game by giving up 16 shots. So you should win a game 2-1 or 2-0, not lose it 4-2. So if they can, play goal again, and then they can finally start scoring, everything should be fine. I still believe they can, but their goaltending's an issue.
Vic, what do you think on the series?
So Vegas is kind of front loaded now, kind of like Toronto had whenever they had the 3 big guys, and now they got Marner, so it kind of front loads them even more with Marner, Eichel, what's the other guy? Stone, yeah. So they've kind of gone the Toronto route. So I don't know how that'll work for them, because they don't got a very good defense either, kind of like Toronto. So I'm a little bit surprised by Utah, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of not, because they got offense all over their lineup. But yeah, that's
and their goalie's really, really good too. I think he's now he's the reason why this is a series. So, Sarah, I know your hatred for Connor Hart, so I assume you are equally happy with this series.
Yeah, I predicted it. I don't think there's a single bracket where I have Vegas winning this. My complaints throughout the past 2 weeks, or month probably at this point, of how the Western conferences compared to the Central and vice versa. I think this exactly shows that difference. I feel confident that Utah is going to win this series, just because of how better piece it is. It'll definitely be interesting to see them play Anaheim or Edmonton. If Anaheim gets through, I think still Utah's got that. Edmonton might be a little different, although they're not looking that clean right now either. So I think Utah's got a pretty solid chance into the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if that's a hot take, but
yeah, I agree with you. That's they were my pick, because I thought that they would match up well against this division, and so far so good. But we'll see tonight. Tonight's a big difference between going back to Vegas tied at 2 and up 3-1. So we'll see how tonight goes for them. Hopefully well. I don't really think this one's a surprise. Maybe just the scoring in this one is probably more of a surprise, especially with how bad Boston played yesterday. They were terrible. But Buffalo is up 3-1 in this series. Swayman's not been great in goal for Boston, a 3.50 with a 900 save percentage. Pasternak's been Pasternak. He's pasta. 5 points, but just 1 goal. Morgan Geekie has 4 points with 2 goals. The problem for them has been Charlie McAvoy, who's a -4, and Pavel Zacha, who is a -5. Gertie, would you please freaking move? Buffalo, they started with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. First 2 games, he was really good in game 1. He had a really bad game 2, giving up a goal basically from center ice, and then it just fell apart on him. Then they go to the good old vet, Alex Lyon, who was unreal in Boston with a 0.9 goals against average and a 964 save percentage. For those of you that don't know hockey, that's really, really damn good. Alex Tuck has 6 points with 3 goals, 3 assists. Peyton Krebs and Bowen Byram have 5 points each. Tage Thompson, Owen Power also with 4 points. What's kind of crazy about this series, because normally special teams is a factor, Buffalo has yet to score a power play goal, but yet they are leading this series 3-1. So, Peter, what are your thoughts on this series?
Well, it's probably about to be 4-1, and they're moving on. So I don't expect Boston to really show up tomorrow. I mean, I expect them to show up, but I expect Buffalo to win. It'll probably be like 4-3, but I expect it to be over tomorrow night.
We'll see if Marco Sturm gets a second year in Boston, I think, by game 5, because that was an embarrassment in game 4. And if they come out and lay another egg like that in game 5, I would not be surprised if Boston has yet another coaching change again. Vic, what are your thoughts on this one?
My issue for a series with Buffalo's goaltending, and it's been okay, but the game yesterday was shocked me. Boston looked lost, turnovers everywhere, just lost. So we'll see how they respond tomorrow. But this series hasn't really shocked me too much.
Agreed.
With this,
Sarah, what do you think?
Obviously, like, Buffalo has had a great regular season. I just thought with it being their first season back, or first time back in the playoffs, obviously in years, I thought Buffalo had a better chance of getting through this series. So with the way it looks right now, should have never doubted Buffalo, I guess. I'm not really sure. The fact that Buffalo was still able to pull away with the wins at TD Garden is just insane, and especially a 6-1 case in that scenario. So I could definitely see the series ending tomorrow, but again, for my bracket, take that to 7, please.
I hear you on that one. So now, I love when we talked about these series beforehand, and we talked about the potential of how good the Minnesota, Dallas, and Tampa Bay, Montreal series could be. And sometimes, when we talk about stuff like that, it doesn't quite happen that way. But man, oh man, have we been blessed this year, because these two series have lived up to everything we thought they would. Minnesota, Dallas is tied at 2. It started off a little shaky for Dallas. They lost that first game 6-1. Ottinger was not good, but he has since rebounded. Both goalies have been really, really strong in the series. We've had 2 games. The last 2 games have both gone to overtime. Jesper Wallstedt in goal for Minnesota, a 2.06 and a 9.29. Kirill Kaprizov leads them with 6 points. Matt Boldy, Brock Faber, and Joel Eriksson Ek have 5 points each. Dallas, again, we talked about Jake Ottinger, a streaky game 1, but since then he's back to a nice 2.69 goals against, a 902 save percentage, so very well. Matt Duchene has found the fountain of youth when leading them with 7 points. Jason Robertson has 6 points with 4 goals. Wyatt Johnson and Mikko Rantanen, unfortunately, has 5 points. The Dallas power play is what is really keeping them alive. They are at 42%, while Minnesota's only at 16%. But this series has been great. Scooter, what are your thoughts on this bad boy?
Series has been great. It'll probably continue being great. And I expect another 2 overtime games coming up here. 7 games totally. I'm still picking Dallas, but Minnesota's playing really well.
Vic, what you got?
This will probably be the best ending to a series with the last 3 games, in my opinion. Just the way the 2 teams match up. But yeah, after the first game, Dallas fans were freaking out. I'm like, this is what they always do. So I wasn't really saying it was going to be like ending 5 games or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a good ending to the series.
Agree. Sarah, what do you think on this bad boy?
They're going to take it to 7. I mean, this always happens. Like you said, we all predicted that this was going to be a hell of a series, because this is something that you see in the Western Conference Finals, but it always ends up being the first round. And I think it's a pretty big teller of who does go to, the Western Conference Finals, and even in the Stanley Cup final, if they have a chance of winning that. I mean, it's a teller. I can kind of see Minnesota coming on top right now. I don't know. I think I do have Dallas winning. Although I would love to see a Minnesota win, get past, the second round. But then again, you have to play Colorado, and that's even worse, I think.
That's the sad part for whoever wins the series, right? they're going to get done beating up each other, and Colorado's just sitting there eating popcorn, watching this thing happen, and going to get to rest up. So
yeah, like especially if this goes to 7, and then you got Colorado that took a team out in 4, like the variation of how much rest a team got is gonna definitely be
agree.
the set for what happens in the series.
All right, so then that gets us, it's as good as that series has been. Somehow the Tampa Montreal series has been even better with 3 of the 4 games going to overtime. And if it wasn't for Tampa getting the winning goal within the last 2 minutes of regulation, that game was heading for overtime as well. So this series has just been crazy, crazy good as well. And Andre Valesky's been a little bit subpar for him. He's got a 2.58 goals against average, but only an 882 save percentage. And Jacob Dobosh for Montreal against kind of similar, a 2.60 with only an 883. That's because these teams haven't had a lot of shots on goal. But there's just been they've had a lot of quality shots, and you're seeing that with the numbers. Braden Hagel has 7 points for Tampa, with 6 of them being goals. Jake Gensel has 7 points, and Nikita Kucherov, of course, has 6 points for Montreal. They're a bit more balanced. Lane Hudson has 4 points with 2 and 2. Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield also have 4 points. So they've got a little bit more balance, where Tampa's been a little bit more one-sided. Montreal's sitting there with a 26% power play, Tampa at 20%. Let's hope for 7 games and all 3 more overtimes. Scooter, what do you like about the series?
I mean, I'm liking the overtime. So I mean, it's kind of flip a coin. Who's going to win the game? Flip a coin. So I'm flipping a coin, but I still think Tampa wins in 7.
Vic, what do you think about the series?
I had it going 7 also, and I thought, well, I mean, maybe Vasi might steal that one and hit. And so far, he hasn't played well, so it's likely he'll steal some game. So maybe it'll be the 7th one.
Good old Vasi in Game 7s. Never count him out there. Sarah, what do you think?
I mean, definitely a very interesting pattern. I do think Tampa's still going to be able to pull it out, but I love that Montreal is putting up one hell of a fight. I mean, this is a great series. Atlantic rivalry, freaking that COVID Stanley Cup final rivalry somehow exists, which is insane. But hey, I mean, I like it. I want to say Tampa wins out the next 2. Get a good Game 6 in, but I mean, this could also go to 7. I don't know.
Montreal was my pick at the beginning of this thing, so I'm hoping for them. But I'm loving this series. Like, every game has just been so good and so tightly contested. So this series is what playoff hockey has been all about for sure. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is where we stand right now with all 8 of our playoff series. So our next show will be on May 4th. So of course, May the 4th be with you, right? For any Star Wars fans out there. We're going to by then we'll know all these series will be over with, because the Game 7s are all either Saturday or Sunday of this weekend. So they'll all be over with. That means we will know the divisional rounds. So we will preview that. We'll do a quick recap of this. And then, of course, coming up later in July will be our fun show that we do as well, where eventually here we'll get that in here with the sports being priced out. So with that being said, let's go here real quickly. And just remember, you can watch us live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And of course, you can listen to us the next day on all the fun places that you get your podcasts at. Our show lineup is here for you too. The Pretenders and Contenders. Coach Devon will be coming up here later. He's got Lester Overton, the head coach at Fairmont Heights High School, will be his guest tonight on Pretenders or Contenders. So you'll be able to check that out here in about 38 minutes. So he'll be on tonight at 7. Tomorrow, Unapologetic Sports with Flying Brian and Lee Ice. If you've not checked out that show, please do so. They are great. I've been on there a couple times with them. Flying Brian has his Flying High segment, and then Lee Ice has his in the freezer section. I think at one point in time he's taken James Harden out of the freezer for Cleveland, but after these last 2 games, I assume that he will fully be back in the freezer for Lee Ice. And then Tuesday Night Flight comes up after that. Then you have Nothing But Net. They will break down all the NBA, where the NBA's at in their playoffs. They'll break that down for us on Wednesday night. And then you have the Thursday night throwdown, the WrestleManiacs, of course, on Saturday, and then the Sunday Rise on Sunday. So that is the show lineup, and that is basically our show for tonight. So, Scooter, any last thoughts here before we say bye-bye?
Saturday night, 6:58, 6:58, the Kentucky Derby. It's the
All right.
1,276 running of the Kentucky Derby. You have Renegade 4-1, Commandant 6-1, Further Ado 6-1, and I Love Chief Wallaby 8-1.
8-1. There you go. I like that. Vic, any last thoughts?
Chief Wallaby it is. I'm picking Chief Wallaby. I'm putting all my money on Chief Wallaby. But
Sarah.
Scooter, glad you're feeling better, and Sarah, good luck on your finals.
Oh, isn't that nice? Let me be all nice. Sarah, any last thoughts?
For with the Kentucky Derby, I'm pretty sure is it, I think it's like Go Happy or Be Happy, one of the contenders, but
So happy.
really, yeah, really sweet story behind that. So I have to have the heartstrings pull at me a little bit on that and kind of hope that they end up winning that one.
15-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean it's there. It's there.
You can make money.
So
Yeah, 51's nice. That's a good money maker.
Yeah.
if they win the Kentucky Derby, it'll be a really nice story. I mean, even them being here is a nice story overall. Do your research. It's really nice. I do want to put it out there as like a fun bit. I got scared that Scooter wasn't in here 5 minutes before, and I texted him. I was like, "Where are you, Vixen? Here, I do not need their pessimistic opinions on this." But you guys,
good today.
Yeah, that's pretty positive.
So good job, because I had my little mouse hovering over the mute button just in case if any of you guys got a little too south.
It's hard to be pessimistic when your team gets a first round sweep and plays pretty damn good hockey. Like I can't complain at all about that. You know, the shenanigans that happened in game 4 pissed me off a little bit.
Don't make it sound like you guys weren't. You guys were complaining.
Well, I haven't complained once in that series. Other than that I didn't like the hits, I thought the hits were BS, but that's not complaining about how the Canes were playing. That was just I didn't like the hit on Nishishkin, but I thought it was late,
Speaking of, they called Legault up, so that's probably not a good sign.
Well, yeah, I mean they're going to do that. We'll see. I mean, look, it's a concussion, so you never know. I mean, I think they're not going to rush it, but the good news is they probably got to Monday or Tuesday, so he's got a week, for the cobwebs to clear out. So we will see. All right, folks, there you have it. We ran a little bit late, but I thought we'd be able to get this thing in an hour. I timed it all out, and then I just, we're just too good at this, I guess. So, but we're done now. So appreciate Vic. It's good to see you again, buddy. Glad that you're able to join us. Glad that you're feeling better. Hopefully that continues for you. You are welcome here at any point in time. Scooter, glad you are also feeling better. Sarah, do really well on the exams or else.
I don't think I'm going to be here next week. That's a.
Yeah, because that's exam week. Yeah, I would agree with that decision that you should not be here next week. So I agree. Focus on those exams. We'll get through next week without you. So, all right, everyone. Thank you again for joining in to Drive Time. We'll catch you next week. And again, just remember, please tell your loved ones that you love them and hug them, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. But hopefully you'll be here with us next week. And if so, we will see you all then. Until then, everyone. Bye-bye.